Yes. The question is, what is the answer to the pluralist argument? I have no quarrel with the pluralists. We do not believe in something forced on people from top down. We believe that every Christian must work to bring every area of life and thought into captivity to Christ. So our method is not gaining control dictatorially of the state and saying to everybody, get in line, go to church, say your prayers, but rather conversion and the exercise of dominion. By this means to bring every area of life and thought into captivity to Christ. So evangelism is basic to this, and then the exercise of dominion. Yes.
Well, when you speak of exercising dominion, can you draw a distinction between that and being dictatorial?
Yes, there is a distinction between the exercise of dominion and being dictatorial. Our Lord called attention to the distinction. He said, the Gentiles love to lord it over people, but it shall not be so among you. He who is greatest among you, let him be servant of all. So that we are ministers of Christ. We serve. We try to meet human needs in the Lord. And we try in every way to be faithful to God by fulfilling His law word. And love is the fulfilling of the law. It is putting the love of God into force. And the love of man is manifested by being faithful to God. That is something very different from using an army and a police force to tell people this is the way you should act. The distinction, you see, is very ably set forth in the quarrel between two religions. Paul said, when he was speaking of the chosen people, he is a Jew who is one inwardly. And then he went on to say that the true Israelite or Jew is the one who is by faith a son of Abraham. Now, Mohammed took those very words of Paul to oppose Christianity. He said, he is a Muslim who is one outwardly. Only outward compliance, keeping a few rituals, and then a course of order. That's all. Islam doesn't care what's in your heart, as long as you maintain a few simple forms. Whereas our faith doesn't operate that way. God requires that it begin with regeneration and the gift of the Spirit, and then the extension of that into every area of life. The dominion the Lord has over us, we are to manifest in our lives over every area where He has called us. And that does not mean acting like Mohammedans and saying externals will satisfy God. We work from inside out. Are there any other questions? Yes.
Well, could you give maybe a practical example of what the Christian's responsibility would be in the area, say, of civil government, like politics? What would be his responsibility for exercising dominion as a citizen of the state in the area of politics, for instance?
Yes, we have a responsibility in politics to exercise dominion by our vote, by holding office, getting godly men into office, by limiting the powers of the state, and making the state the servant of the Messiah rather than a Messiah, by seeing to it that the state in a very limited sphere exists to provide justice or righteousness. That in every other sphere we take over the responsibility as individuals. We cannot complain about welfarism if we as Christians do nothing to remedy it. We cannot complain about state power when we have not exercised Christian power